matching claws. We'll get Rogue back.
I think with the X-Men inclusion in Avengers Doomsday, the Fox X-Men films have reignited a lot of people's interest in them, and as a result, now is a great time to look back and see if they really do hold in a modern context. From X-Men 2000 to Dark Phoenix, I will be looking at each film to see if they still stand the test of time with their black leather suits, Wolverine as the only character with good writing, and this.
What the fuck is this?
So let's stop with the delays and begin our journey with X-Men 2000. So the movie begins in the middle of somewhere Canada, as we meet our POV character of the movie, Rogue, who is on the run after giving her boyfriend a dose of the cooties. Now, all things considered, I actually like Anna Paquin's Rogue quite a bit. I mean, she doesn't do anything after this movie, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. In this movie, she adds a bit of heart into the story as she becomes a character that we follow along with to keep up with the world this movie builds. And it's something that I hope that MCU does similarly, as I think it serves as a great starting off point for the audience. Anyways, after this, we meet Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. And I'm not going to say anything about this because everything about him has already been said by everyone else. Yes, he's too tall, but I don't really care because Rogue is in this movie from the suburbs, and despite being a Southern belle, she has also no relationship with Mystique. So obviously this film is trying something different. One thing that is very similar to the comics, however, is Wolverine's father-like relationship to Rogue, which is a personality trait that is very akin to comic book Wolverine, just like his relationship with...
You are dead. Not a big surprise.
Oh yeah, Sabretooth is in this movie. I don't even think he says anything. Oh, it's good, man. But don't worry, because the X-Men's here to stand and stare
Menacingly!
So the X-Men's involvement in this series is kind of inconsistent, as in this film they are more so just the backup to Logan, rather than an actual team who work together. Cyclops is not a strategic freedom fighter team leader, but instead a pretty boy cuck with a stick up his own ass. Jean Grey is not a psychologically dense character who stands as the moral heart for the team, but is instead a hot babe for Logan to lust for. And Storm is not a strong, commanding Omega-level mutant with respect from all her peers, but is instead a statue to look pretty for the cameras and say one of the worst lines ever said in a superhero film.
Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
Like brunch. Like, what is brunch?
The villains in this movie are the exact same. As mentioned before, Sabretooth is here, but we also have Darth Maul as Toad and Rebecca Romijn as Mystique. Now, Toad is just Toad. There is no denying that or even fixing that. But Mystique is interesting because in the comics, she's a morally ambiguous character who does the good thing whenever she feels like it. But in this film, she's just a sexy boo lady who does kung fu. Hey, wait a minute. And Magneto is here, played by the magnificent Sir Ian McKellen, who will be returning in this role, and I have to say, even though he isn't the best written character in this movie, he is still a lot of fun to see him act like an absolute madman. Like, I get the idea the film was going for, making him a sympathetic villain similar to X-Men 97, but in the end, it comes off as a weird cartoon villain plot. His plan in the movie is to use Rogue's power-taking abilities to give humans an X gene so that everyone becomes a mutant. It is so batshit crazy, and what's even more sinister is that he knows that Rogue will likely die and is pissed that she doesn't see the vision. I guess she was supposed to be like,
"That's a great idea. I'm with that."
Which, in my opinion, just completely ruins the possibility to make him a villain that we could actually get behind. Anyways, back to the stuff I really like. This film is a massive product for its time. In a good way, and to be honest, in a little bit of a bad way. You see, nowadays it takes until the second act until we have the characters established or working together. But in here, the X-Men is already formed, the Xavier Institute is thriving, and the mutant scare is already an established fear in society. It's partly why Fantastic Four, First Steps, and Superman have begun to be a lot of people's favorites, as we just completely skip over the origin and are just thrown into this world to pick up the pieces, much like this film. The tone is a little everywhere, because on one hand, it is playing it straight, especially with the dramatic and emotional Holocaust opening. Opening I think is really well done, but it also does come across as the writers not messing with what many love about the X-Men. The colorful suits, wacky antics, and bright characters are traded in for a more laid-back cast of characters, and as a cost, a more dull cast. But what makes this decision even more puzzling is that it still has camp, but in an accidental way. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I love camp, but it more so just comes off as muddy and very inconsistent.
Hey, you know they got your mans. They got your mans on sex assault charges. Oh, yeah, sex offender. And he was your mans. He was your boy.
All in all, this film is a testament of superhero media at the time. If you're a comic, you're a camp. But if you were edgy, you were cool. But black leather and terrible lines aside, this film does have a lot to like. It is still a drama about oppression that is handled pretty well for a 2000 superhero film with nude blue women. And even though the cast isn't on their A game due to the material not allowing them to spread their wings at all, I think visually they do fit. James Marsden has the attitude and optics for Scott Summers. Famke Janssen has the commanding voice of a comic Jean Grey, and Magneto has a presence that is simultaneously threatening and very enticing, which, to be honest, I expect nothing less when it comes to Sir Ian McKellen. To finalize, I think this film does have some missteps, but also a couple of hits. A well-done theatrical melodrama about prejudice that happens to feature immortal Canadians and the typical cringy superhero dialogue. So to conclude, I'm going to give 2000's X-Men a 2.5 out of 5.
Hey, guess what?